He says he's a woman. I don't.
Oh, okay.
I know that he's a man. I know he's a man.
If she thinks she's a woman and she feels she's a woman
You know what I
inside.
find incredible is we're a very intelligent society. We've reached the pinnacles of education, but to the point where we can't identify this as so obviously a man.
But why is he a man? Because he looks like a man?
It's biological.
And if I had
his
cancer,
chromosomes
and if I
his
had
penis.
cancer, no, that doesn't matter. If I had cancer, yeah, and I wouldn't have hair, I would go bald, right?
Yeah.
And I'm really flat. I don't have boobs, okay?
Okay.
Okay,
yeah.
so you don't know.
Yeah, I didn't do that. Don't be aggressive.
No,
It's
sorry.
fine.
Yeah, but you can know just from my looks how I think of myself. Okay.
Okay.
He can look at himself and feel like a man. Okay.
So,
and he's looking at himself and herself and see a woman.
Can you have a different ethnic identity? If you feel you're black and you're white, would you call me black if I told you I was a black person?
But black,
I wouldn't
but black is a color.
You wouldn't care. What difference
Black is
does
a
it
color.
make? What difference does it make?
It would be like if you said you had the brown eyes.
I don't care.
look,
I
this is a
think that
man.
people
But
should
just because he has beard.
Can I get right? Yeah. Hi
And
there.
I
Good
think
to see
that
you.
shouldn't
Okay.
like-
So what we're
shouldn't
saying
get
is
to other
you can be
people.
born
If
in the
this
wrong
person is
body,
happy,
but you can't
when
be
he
born in
says
the wrong
he's a woman, when she
racial
says
body.
he's a male,
Listen, I think the
No, I know it's
bottom
important.
line, I think the bottom line that you're not getting is,
Go on,
I
then
think
help me
people
with
should
it,
be
yeah?
happy.
yeah, I'm trying to
And
help you
Yeah.
because you don't see the bigger picture.
Why
Go on,
does
I
The
see this as a man.
identity of a person is not belongs to you. It belongs to me. It belongs to her. It
Do you
belongs
have any
to
gay friends?
It
myself.
belongs to reality. Do you understand
What
reality
is
is?
reality?
Do you understand?
Why do you care?
If I said to you the grass
Gay
was pink,
people were
you
like-
would say to me, no, it
I
isn't
would,
pink.
okay, so
If
I would
I
think
say
you're
this
mad.
is a man
I
and
would
you
think
say
you're
this is a woman,
mad,
it's a
but
sign
I
of
wouldn't
insanity
mind.
and
People like
delusion.
us.
It's
But
not
why do you
insanity.
mind? Why do you mind?
Okay.
If you think this is pink,
Let's say we
okay,
are
if
like
you think
of
this is
that
pink,
No, I know this is an emotive
Relax,
thing, and
relax.
I don't hate anybody. I have
someone
nothing but
told you
goodwill
this.
for everybody. I haven't
why
got
do you
a
try to
dog in the
pursue
bush.
me?
What
Why do you
I'm
try to
trying to
be
say
like,
is, okay, for
yes,
me,
back in the day, you
not
would
for
say,
me. I
this is
think
illogical, like,
it's a
women
fact
can't vote,
that
they
this
can't have
man who
opinion.
calls himself
But
a
now,
woman
I
is a man who
just
calls
say,
himself
you know,
a woman.
like, I also
He is
feel that
not
he can
a
have
woman in
he can
any
have
aspect.
his
And the
own
problem I
opinion.
have is
I just
women
say
have safe
we
spaces.
shouldn't, yeah,
They spent generations
just
of
say
feminist
we shouldn't-
things, and I'm a feminist, okay, because I've got 5 daughters.
shouldn't,
I
like-
do not want a character like this,
We shouldn't like
where
say
the
to
only
people,
determining feminine
"Ah,
feature
you're
is
born as
he
a male,
calls
you are
himself a
male."
woman, going into the toilet when my 11-year-old daughter goes in there, because I think that men are encroaching in women's space to the point that there is going to be more and more. No, bear
so
with
if
me. Can
that's
I just
a
say this?
feminist-
Can I just say this? This man is a serial rapist.
First of all, it's very
While he was in the
interesting
men's
and there's
prison,
a lot
he
of
transitioned to a
commentaries
woman.
about that.
They moved him to the women's prison, where he then sexually assaulted 2 other women.
they're assholes.
Now, do you think
Anyway,
this transgender
I
woman
feel
should
like
have been
so
allowed in a
if
woman's
If-
prison?
If that's a feminist
Yes.
thing,
You think he should?
Yes, I think
Even
he
though he
should.
had a
I
history
think
of
he
rape?
should get, because he's a criminal and he's a rapist, no matter what his gender is, because he thinks he's a woman, he should
You're
get a
guilty
room.
for the sexual assaults he caused.
I'm not guilty
if
because
you let
he's
him into
guilty.
the prison, you're guilty.
No, I'm not.
You're the prison governor. Put this right. You're the prison governor.
Okay. I
would
Stamp,
put him
stamp, stamp.
alone.
Knock,
But
knock,
wait.
knock. They
Put him
will
alone.
wait for it. He
Listen.
comes in. This is a.
okay, so there are women
You're
that
the-
attack
you're
women,
the
right?
one on the-
There are
on the
women that
floor.
attack women, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if
So she's a woman that attacks other women, and she
Try
should
and
get
some
a
sanity
cell
in here.
of.
Would you put
She
a
should
twice
be
convicted
in a
rapist
cell
man in a
alone.
women's prison?
She should be in
'Cause
a
he-
cell
'cause he
In
alone.
an
says he's a woman.
isolated cell, yes.
In an isolated cell?
Yes.
Why?
Because she attacks
she's
other
a
women.
woman.
She attacks other women.
Okay, you put this, but you would allow this person into the female prison.
Yeah?
Yes.
Because she said she's a woman.
Not with other women or with other men
Is this
as
a
well,
wo- is
because
this
she's a
woman?
rapist.
Is this a woman?
She said she's a woman.
Oh, so what we have here, this is a woman, okay? This is a cat. This is
Are you still happy
a,
when you're wearing dress?
this is a genuine black woman, okay? So, and this is actually a 6-year-old girl who was actually a 52-year-old woman. Is this a 6-year-old girl?
Why do you mind?
No.
Why do you mind?
Because the ramifications of a society mental
say that
health.
it's because you don't want male to go inside your the toilet with your
With
daughter.
my daughter, yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I
so
don't want
that's-
him
and
going
that's
into the
a-
toilet
okay,
with my daughter.
So that's a feminist thing, right?
Yeah.
So why are you standing here lecturing about trans people instead of lecturing about rapists? Okay?
Because this
He's
is
a
the topic.
rapist.
Why don't you
He's
talk
a-
about rape?
I don't
Please
live here,
do,
sorry.
please do.
I don't talk here. But if you want to say,
I'll
I
tell
live
you
in
what, I'll
Israel,
coalesce
okay?
my
I live in
arg- I'll
Israel.
coalesce
In
my
Israel, I
argument.
don't know how it
Yeah,
is
yeah,
here, but
yeah.
in Israel, one of every
What
four
I'm
women,
trying to do-
one of every four women
Sure.
is getting raped. Okay, so that's
Yeah.
a bit more. If you're talking about you don't want
Well, why don't
your
we talk
daughters
about
to get
hunger?
raped,
Why don't we talk about poverty?
But-
I mean, here at Speaker's
but
Corner,
being
can I
trans,
just say,
you're
here at
talking about
Speaker's Corner,
your
I think
your
it's a sign
argument-
of an insane
your argument
society
based on that
when
he
you
raped-
young girls would say this is a woman, and you young girls would say this is a woman. For me, you are deluded, and you've been fooled, and you've been programmed to believe something that is false to be
Why do
true,
you
and
mind?
heaven help us.
Why do you mind?
But it's not
Why
our
do
matter.
I mind? I mind because 4-year-old children are being told garbage like this, that you could be born in the wrong body.
And you are telling your girls that this is garbage. This is garbage to me.
100%.
This is too garbage
I'm
to
empowering 5 young women with the truth that they are genuine women.
if
and
one
of them
this
told you-
person is
If
a
one of them
counter-
told
this-
you
at the
that
most,
she's a
this is
lesbian,
this is a counterfeit
if one of
woman.
your daughters told you she's a lesbian, would
Yes.
you mind?
Would I mind? I would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you approve her?
I would love her exactly the same as I'd always
And-
loved
and
her.
you-
Because
you
I
would-
wouldn't define her wholeness as being one aspect that she identifies as. It's so much more than your
Okay.
sexuality
And
or
if
even your
one of your
gender.
daughters-
You have to take the whole thing in. But what I'm saying
And
is,
if one of
a
your daughters
society
would tell you,
Yeah.
Dad, I think I feel like a
born in the
man.
wrong body.
Yeah, I'm a man.
Yeah. Well,
What
you know,
would
I'm
you
going to
tell
give you a
her?
testimony of
that's
a
what he asked
transgender
also.
woman who transitioned around the 19. He's a 70-year-old man now, and he detransitioned. Okay. Now, this 70-year-old man, that he recounted this testimony when he was a young boy. He shared with his grandmother some thoughts he had about his gender confusion, and he said if his grandmother had said to him, "You know what, son? You're a handsome young boy. You're confused. Don't worry about it. We all go through confusing times when you're that young. Just remember this. You'll get through it, and just don't worry about it." If she'd have said to him, he wouldn't have then. But what she did, she affirmed that maybe you are. And he said, the moment she said, thought never. I'm saying, you tell young children you could be in the wrong body. Putting the dysphoria into their minds. You're not curing it. And he never
So
ever
what
forgot
should
that.
we
And
do?
you know what?
And what
20
should-
years
so
later, he
what
had a
you
full
don't
operation.
get it.
What
You
should we
do.
I feel like a woman and I'm a
How do you
female.
know you're a woman?
I know I'm a woman because I
How?
feel like a woman.
You
Okay?
think you feel like a woman.
I feel like a woman. I
Right.
don't
But
think
You're
I
wearing
feel like
pink.
a woman.
You're not wearing pink.
Because
And
I
but
can
hang
wear
on,
blue and I'm
if
still a
he
woman.
chooses pink, somehow he's a girl. It's
Listen, what
crazy.
you're not getting,
I love you both, but it's insane. How old are you?
it's not
How old are you?
23.
23, and you're about the same.
21,
Right. Can I just reel back? See, I'm a different age to you.
Yeah.
And maybe that accounts to perhaps some of the reason why we're standing on different positions here. But I can't understand how in a few short years the education system or the culture has produced two very intelligent, articulate women, biological women, who can come out and actually acknowledge this as much a woman. Is this person as much a woman as you are? As much a woman.
Yes.
Never have a
He's
period,
a
never
male.
had babies,
She's a
hasn't
male.
got a womb,
She's
has
a-
got a penis,
she's a male.
XY
But
chromosomes.
listen, I can tell you something.
I can tell you,
Rega,
I don't want to have children, okay? So that
fair
makes
enough.
me not a woman. Being a woman
No, that's a
is
ridiculous
having
thing.
children, is
No.
wearing pink. I don't get
I
it.
think having a
Yeah.
penis is part of being a... Do you think having a penis is part of being a woman as well then?
No,
'Cause that's what
but
he's
not
got.
not
No,
also
but
as me
nothing
having a
prepares you
having
to be a woman. A woman is how you feel, and I can tell you something
How
about
does he know what a
identity.
woman... How does he know what a woman feels?
Because
How
he
does
feels
know?
like
because
one.
So
because
he-
she's
he-
a woman.
So he feels like walking like that.
Because
and
she's a woman.
But
Because she's a
I
woman.
think
She
the
knows
problem
how
is
a woman feels.
you
because
actually,
she's a
you
woman.
got...
If I
Yeah.
tomorrow wake up and say I'm a
That,
unicorn,
is he a man or a woman?
I wouldn't call
If you would be my friend, I would call you a unicorn. If it matters to you, if it matters to you, I would call you a
Would he
unicorn.
be a unicorn?
my delusion,
You
my
come in,
reality.
come in.
As long as it makes
I
me
think
happy.
the bottom line that you're not getting is if you're a unicorn, it doesn't concern to me
bottom
because
line
you
is
are you and
reality.
I don't
It's
care what you
reality.
are.
Do you know what
can
reality
follow
is?
Just
whatever
because
you
he has a
like.
beard and a penis.
Yeah.
I'm real.
Carry on. Say what you're going to say.
Just because
It doesn't concern to me because you can be whatever you like. Why does it concern to me?
Can I just say this again?
So if this
This is a
man-
very intelligent, articulate example
So
of
you're a
womankind.
murderer and it does
she
concern
just
you.
said, just because he's
Because
got a
you're putting
penis
other
and a
people in
beard
danger.
doesn't make him a man.
And this does
He's as
concern
much
to
a
other
woman
people.
as... So let's have a look.
Yes,
Hang on.
it
Look at the
doesn't
two
concern
women.
to
Would you
me
like to have a
if
look
you
at the
don't
camera?
put me
Look at
in
the two
danger.
women.
I see myself as a woman.
The two
and,
women here.
And she's a woman as well.
This is a woman. Hang
Yeah.
on. And could I just put that in front of your face? That's a woman.
No, just because there's a beard.
Is this a man or a woman?
This is a woman.
Is this a
she
man
says
or a
she's a
woman?
woman.
If she feels like a woman, she's a woman.
Is she a woman?
I can tell you
No,
something.
it's not about whether she
Yeah,
feels
I'm
to
trying
you.
to
It's
say
not.
something
male.
for a
She's
really
a
long
male.
time.
Go on,
really.
go on, say, go on.
I've been working with deaf people, and some of them
Yeah.
can't hear anything. Okay.
It'd be a blessing in disguise, yeah?
Okay. Some of them have hearing aids. Okay, and they define themselves as a hearing person.
Okay.
Could I tell them they're wrong? Physically, like I say, physically, he's a male, but he feels like a woman, okay?
And should
Physically,
society acknowledge him as a
He's
woman?
deaf physically, but he feels like a hearing person and he hears.
Maybe you're disagreeing
according to
slightly
the-
with your friend here. You're saying this is not a biological woman.
No, he's a male.
He's not a biological
He's not-
female.
Now, hang on, now
She's
we're
not a
actually
biological
identifying
male.
this. It seems a very small thing, but it's actually the thing that is the thing that defines what you are. Now,
No.
I know this isn't a woman.
You want to talk about
Hang on,
something?
does any hands up who thinks this is a woman? No one's going to show. Is this a woman or a man? It's a man. Woman or man? Man. Woman
Okay.
or man? Man.
So-
Here we're getting to the
so-
20-year-old intelligent females.
So
man or woman?
You want to talk about something?
Man or woman?
I have
and then I'll
Afro.
stop. and
No,
I'll
that's
give
a
you an hour.
woman. That's a
It's
woman.
and
Okay.
Okay. So you're all wrong.
Yes.
Okay, right, and unfortunately for me, this is the shape of things to come because when your memories have all gone,
You know, you want to
the
deny
young,
reality, that's all.
So
No,
in
you want to
reality,
create their own reality.
some people used to think that the Earth is flat. Okay, and you would stand out in the city and ask, "Is the Earth flat?" And everyone would say yes, right?
what about if he said
Yeah.
the Earth was flat? You'd agree with him,
So
wouldn't you?
so maybe you're stuck in the past, and I'm starting to say maybe the Earth is round, and you would call me crazy because you
I
tell
wouldn't call you crazy.
no, you look at the Earth, it's flat.
If he said
Look
to
at
you,
the Earth,
he
it's
wants
flat.
you to believe it's flat, you'd say it was flat. If he
We have
wants you to
proven
believe
that
it's
the
flat,
If I had a
Why
friend,
would I
if I had
accept
a
the Earth
friend
is flat?
that would
But this
tell
is
me all the
identity of a
time,
person.
look,
No,
the
this
Earth
Earth
is
is
flat,
not-
and I would show him,
Yeah.
and I would show him like, look, the world
I
is round.
feel
We
like
have,
that.
he'd be
we have-
deluded, wouldn't he, in
Oh, I
saying
feel
that?
like
Yeah,
a
but
man.
I.
Okay,
but
you're
if it
deluded.
matters to him,
You're
if it
insane.
matters
But what
to
is
him,
reality?
if it matters to him,
This is
I
what
would
is
tell him,
inspired you to
okay,
think
I
about.
understand you think the world is
You know,
flat,
hang on,
and I would act like
I'm
that.
just separating.
And I would act
really
like that.
interesting
But
thing.
that's science.
The
But
only
that's
thing that I
science.
do and you're not is separating the physical life from the spiritual life. And you're not doing that. You're not thinking inside. You're thinking inside the box. You're not getting out of it.
I can tell my religious friend that God doesn't exist because I don't have proof of that.
Do you think
But I
he's deluded?
have
Do you think
proof.
you're,
Yeah,
you think
yeah,
he's deluded?
yeah, but I won't
Okay,
tell
so
him
that's
that.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I
won't
won't tell
tell
him
him
that,
that.
and I
But if he
accept,
said to you,
and I
is it
accept
the
the
truth?
fact,
Would you
and
say
I
it's the
accept
truth?
the fact
Hang on.
that he has
Would
the
you tell
right
him
to
it's the
believe in
truth?
God.
Would you tell him it's the truth that God does exist?
No,
You
no,
wouldn't.
but I accept
See,
the
can you
right.
see your
But I
prejudice?
accept the
Can
right.
you see your prejudice? You
I
would say
accept
this
the
is
right
a woman.
that he
You
has
would
the
say
right.
that this is a cat. You would say that, but you wouldn't
But
confirm the
why?
person said
But
about
I
God.
don't mind. I don't mind that other people believe in God, even if I don't.
Right,
Okay?
but would you
So
affirm
why
it
do you
publicly that God
mind?
exists?
Why do you mind that other people believe in the women, even
Okay.
if they're in
I
male body?
believe in God.
Okay.
I want you to confirm for me that God exists.
No,
Tell me God exists.
I accept the
Why
fact that
not?
you
It
believe in
hurts
God.
me. It hurts me that you won't affirm God's
So we won't
reality.
talk about it.
No,
we
I
won't
want you
talk about
to.
it.
Otherwise, you'll call
No.
me mental. You're denying my existence.
If you want
If you don't mind,
to say something I don't believe in,
I
we
want
can,
you-
we can
for
not
me,
talk
for me,
anymore,
could you be
okay?
kind? Could you be kind for me? Would you affirm
No.
God's
Because it's
existence?
wrong.
I
Could
can
you
ask-
please
I
affirm
can
God
say,
exists?
I can say, I believe that you believe. I believe that you believe that God exists.
All right. So
okay?
what would you? But you'll say this as a woman.
Yeah.
But you won't say for me God exists.
No, because I really
I
believe in that. I really
So
believe in
what
that.
you're saying is
I
I'm
really
deluded
believe in
for
that,
believing
but I
in
don't
God.
believe in God.
I'm deluded for believing in God, but he's not deluded for believing he's a woman.
Oh yeah.
You're prejudiced.
Okay, okay.
You've revealed,
So if I'm a
you've
vegan,
revealed how prejudiced you are.
if I'm a vegan and you say, okay, animals don't suffer, okay? So you can say that, okay? And I don't believe in that, and I say I want you to say that animals
I
suffer.
really don't
we have
understand.
different opinions.
Yeah,
we
I
have
really
different
don't
opinions. I
understand.
really believe in that, but I don't
Could
believe
you
in
please
God.
affirm God exists for me?
No.
For me.
No, but I really believe that she's a woman.
You really believe this is
Yeah.
a woman? Why do you say it's a woman? Because he says he's a woman.
Yeah, because she said
Now
she's a
I
woman.
want you to say you're a child of God. I'm a child of God. Will you affirm that?
I believe that you believe that.
You
okay?
believe it?
Yeah.
So with this person, you just believe he believes it, but it's not a real woman.
No, I believe she's a woman.
Oh, you believe this is a real woman, but you don't believe that for me that God is real.
I will come to you.
Could you, for me, affirm that?
No.
See, what we've
But
uncovered
if you are my friend, if you are my friend,
hypocrisy where someone won't affirm for me to be as a kind act that God exists, which I truly believe, won't affirm for me the reality of it, but will affirm for this person the reality. This is definitely a woman.
Because
don't
she says she's
understand.
a woman.
Yeah.
Okay, if you would say
Will I
you're-
say
you-
God exists? Will you say for me God exists?
But-
Just get it over
but-
and done with.
But you don't
Why
have proof
can't
for
you?
that,
But
yeah?
he hasn't got proof. He's still got a penis. There is no proof that this is a woman.
You can
Well,
say,
I feel God exists.
It's the same thing that you
Hang
tell.
on,
You don't have opinion.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't have
but I feel God exists. I feel God exists.
Okay.
He feels he's a woman.
Okay.
You'll say he's a woman. Will you affirm for me
But
the existence
I
of God
truly
for
believe,
me?
I
For
truly
me?
believe that she's a woman, but I don't really believe God exists. So I won't affirm that, but I would affirm
Why don't you
something.
believe God exists?
Where is
Because-
he?
Huh?
Where is he?
Well, where's the woman that he claims to be?
He's
then?
no woman, he's a man.
He is a woman.
He says she's a woman.
He's a man.
Is a man? No, it's a
is he
transgender
trans?
woman.
Oh, right, it looks like a man, but
He's got a penis. Is a
Okay,
woman.
so
he feels like a woman.
yeah.
But
he-
physically, he's a man.
Yeah, this is a serial
Yeah, but a lot
rapist.
of women,
woman.
But is he a
rape
man
other
physically?
people, okay?
You tell
So
me.
if you see a
No,
rapist,
not like
you
everyone
want to
can
put him
change
like in a
themselves,
small
like,
cell
I mean, like,
within himself.
biologically, is he a man?
This
Okay? It doesn't matter if he's a male
a person
or
who
a
was born
woman,
a
or
biological man,
or a man,
Then he's a
who
man,
has an
that's it.
XY chromosome, who has a penis, and everything about
XY?
him. Well, XX, I forget. No, it's XY. Yeah,
it's
women
not
are
very
XX.
common,
So
but most
everything
trans
about him
people-
biologically is
most
a man.
trans
He
women and men
hasn't
are
had any
being
surgery.
raped,
He's not taken any
not
drugs,
are
but he
rapists.
claims he's a woman.
So,
Do you believe
Well,
he's
he's
a
got
woman?
mental
this is
problems
like
because
an
He's a man.
edge case.
Can I just say that she affirms this as a man?
Okay.
Why is he a man?
No, don't ask her. You were right.
Yeah,
you
no,
answered.
I'm saying he's a man.
Right? And can I show this is a post-transition woman. This is another woman. Is this a woman?
Biologically a woman.
No, he's biologically was born a man, but this intelligent lady acknowledges him to be a woman.
Because she says she's a woman.
And has he got a woman's penis?
No,
but
but
women doesn't have to have
Well,
a
he's
pussy.
got one. He's got one.
no, but he was born a man.
Okay, he was born a man.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
She
yeah.
was born a man. Okay,
But
but she feels
she's
a
saying
woman.
that even though this is a post-transition trans woman who obviously is a man, who doesn't take any hormone treatments, has had no surgery,
Because
dresses
women
like
is
that,
not that if you have
that
a
you say
pussy
this is
or
a woman and
boobs,
you
it
know
doesn't.
this is a
So
man.
what's your point then? What are you trying to
My
say?
point is that what we have at the moment, this is for me the big thing.
If they
Children at school
want
At least
to,
Kate
if
and
they
Jenna.
want to, you can
Okay.
say.
See,
A lot of
no,
people
no.
think I'm a half
are being
black, okay,
taught
because they have afro.
that you could be
Okay,
born
but
in the
I'm
wrong
not
body
black.
when
I'm
they're
not
4
half
years of
black,
age.
even half white.
For me, I've got 5
Yeah.
daughters.
Okay, but a lot
Okay?
of people think that.
Anyone who plants that concept in a
I'm
4-year-old's
corrupting
mind
the-
is
yeah.
creating
Oh,
mental
okay,
illness.
okay.
Yeah, and
So,
corruption as well.
a lot of people
See,
like
this
to
is
say,
why it's more
you
to
want
do.
people to not
This is
think
far
you're
more
black.
important than
No, that
pictures
might, yeah,
about
but
him.
you want people
This
to
is
not
what it's
think
really
you're
about.
black. Well,
The
yeah.
minds, the hearts, and the
Why
mental
do they
health
mind?
of the next
Why-
generation. And we've got someone here who was a very intelligent, articulate young woman
Okay.
who will form the minds of 4-year-olds and put mental illness in. That
But
philosophy,
if
she
those
will.
trans
She
women
thinks this is a good
want-
idea. She thinks this is a good idea to teach a 4-year-old that they could be born in the wrong body.
Or wear a wig.
She's academic.
I don't know, that's making them like hate themselves.
I know. It will cause mental illness.
Yeah,
It will put the seed that will grow and grow and grow until, in the end, they'll have surgery and they'll have all these kind of things when they're about 12.
I should believe that.
She believes it. This person will be put on hormone blockers, which will halt the development of their sexual organs, right, from about the age of 11. And then,
Taught that, that's why.
yeah, no, see, this is why it's so important. This is so important. No, what I'm trying to do is say, we stand at the cusp where the normalisation of mental illness on an industrial scale is being planted in the school system.
Are you coming from like a religious background? Or?
Well, I'm a Christian, you know, but I don't think you need to be a Christian. It's got nothing to do with faith. This is just a biological fact. I'm just saying we stand on the cusp now of, yeah, go on, yeah, please do.
I don't mean to be rude, but
You say whatever you want.
every time I see these like transgender arguments, it's always a case of, oh hey, but we've got one case where a trans woman raped a woman in prison.
Yeah.
Because you know,
Yeah.
I'm
What
pretty
about
sure
all the
women
others?
get raped in prison by other women. And
Not
it
by
did
other
few
men.
times,
This is
right?
pretty new, don't you think?
And it's like, but like, is,
can I
is,
just
is
say-
it a pandemic problem? Is it
No,
like,
no,
oh,
no,
there's
no.
been a spike
think
in
that the
Can
woman who was
I
raped-
answer his question? I can't only answer one question at a time.
but I have a question,
okay.
Ida.
Do you think it's a good idea to put serial rapist in a woman's prison? That's really the
I
bottom
think
line.
that you should isolate serial rapists the same way you isolate serial rapists in men's prisons. I don't see the thing where people are using it as an
You know
attack
what?
on trans.
For me, I think it's more remarkable that people are questioning someone who's drawing attention to the fact that a serial rapist. Can I just finish
question.
answering him? That you're the prison governor. Knock, knock on your door. They bring him in. He's now calling himself a woman. He is a serial rapist who has brutally raped 2 women, and they're saying he says he's now a woman. We want to put him in the women's prison. What do you do?
Isolate him.
You'd isolate him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're a rapist,
Castrate,
isolate.
castrate,
If you're a
then
murderer,
isolate.
Oh yeah, obviously
Every rapist.
castrate too.
Yeah, but
And,
why?
oh hey, bro.
Yeah, but why even move him into a women's prison? You would allow him into the women's prison.
I guess it's just being respectful. I mean, if you try to identify as
See,
a woman, let him
I
stay in
agree
a
with you.
woman's prison. I just think
Most
that,
most rational people who've asked this
in
question,
men's
I
prisons-
agree. They say that he should be put either in isolation or in a transgender ward.
when there's
what
like
do you think?
because
I
there's
think,
such a
I
high
think
rate
that
of
they should. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I think
Do
that
you think he should go transgender or isolation or is in the women's?
I think that he should go into the women. That she should go into the women's prison and be isolated, like every
Okay.
other rapist and every other killer. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you think that the
Should he
woman
be
who was
allowed to
raped?
go into the women's
do you think that
toilets?
the woman who was raped by
He shouldn't, should he?
You
See,
think
see,
that?
my,
Wait,
my,
I don't have a problem with it. I think
Go
he
on,
should
go on,
make an
go on.
appearance
You think that-
with his appearance.
yeah. Have you got any children?
No.
Okay, if my 11-year-old daughter's here in the park and she said, Dad, I'm going to go to the ladies' toilets. When I say, okay, you can go in the ladies' toilets, because when you open the doors, they're big, heavy doors, aren't they? And you shut them and you go into the ladies' cubicles. If he was in that toilet, and I don't care what he looks like, I don't care how much makeup and how much money he spends on getting people to make him look something that he's not, is
But
in
she-
that
but
toilet,
she's a rapist.
he has no
But she's
right
a
to be in a
rapist.
woman's safe
You wouldn't
space.
want any rapist to be in your daughter's toilet, right? It
Yeah,
doesn't matter
yeah,
if she's
yeah.
if she's a transgender
Are you
or
aware?
not.
Are
But
you
do
aware
do you
that
think, wait,
the
wait, do you
physical
think,
power
do you
this
think that the woman
person
who was
has?
raped by,
Let's have a
do you
look.
think the woman who was raped by her in the prison would mind if it's a male or female? No, she minds that she was raped.
The
This is the point. She
statistics
was
are on
raped.
my side.
No,
How
they're
many
not.
powerful lesbian rapists, women rapists, do you know of? And how many
Because-
male? Which would it swing more in?
Because-
I'm going to just make this last point. There are far more predatory male rapists
So let's
than
put-
predatory
so let's put them all
lesbian
in
rapists.
prison,
And
okay?
we need to address it. You deserve you to answer your question. Yeah, go on.
How much rape is there in men's prisons? The fact that it's pandemic, we don't just all of a sudden isolate all these gay men prisons into other prisons. We just go, okay, that dude's a rapist. We got to get that motherfucker out of there.
Yeah,
You ain't
yeah.
going in the shower with that.
And where do you put him? You put him in the female prison.
Oh hell no! You
Well,
put
this
him-
is
you
what
isolate
happened.
him.
See,
I
you
don't
know
understand why it's such
that you
a
said,
hard-
why am I making a point of this? Because it actually happened, and 2 women were sexually assaulted because a decision was made on the basis of
and-
political correct
And how
ideology
many trans
to
people,
ignore all of the
and
fail-safes
how many
that
trans
state
people
the bleeding
suicide?
obvious.
How many trans people suicide
Yeah.
because of people like you?
No
telling them
way.
they know
Actually,
they
I'm
not
going to
exist?
strike that one down. Do you know that even after the transitioning and the operation, there's still 30% likelihood of people to commit suicide? While the statistics, let me finish this off. If you were, let's say a prepubescent boy was to present to you, you're his psychiatrist, and he would say, I feel a bit confused, you know, I'm not quite sure if I'm a male or female. The stats show, the scientific evidence is, if you leave him alone and say, you know what, thanks for sharing that with me, okay, you know, come back again if you've got any problems, leave him alone, he will pass through puberty 90% of the time and live a happy, normal, whatever it is like. No, listen, I'll show you.
Suicide rate for men has never been higher. I don't really think it's
I'm talking about transgender suicides. I'm not talking about male. You're right, male suicides are a huge issue. But what I'm saying is, after having the operation doesn't solve the problem.
Some people it does. It makes them a bit happier for some people. Like, actually sorts a bit of their problem.
It sounds right what you say, but there's still 30% more, 30% chance of them trying to take their own lives after they've had the operation. Well, if they don't have the operation and they're just allowed to, I know that's. I think you should talk about that. I think you should talk about that.
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing. It's like, how do you know this isn't just a terrible case of depression within men instead of actually, it's because they're trans, they want to kill themselves?
It's worth analysing that, cheers. Worth analysing. But you know what? You made an interesting point. For me, if 10 years ago there was something called sexual identity disorder, and it was a mental illness, and they treated it as a mental illness. And when this is pre that. It used to be called sexual identity disorder 10 years ago. And if people who were persistent and had lived 2 years in their new state and had shown this commitment to it and this persistence, then maybe they would be given the sex change and the hormones, etc., etc. Only 10 years ago it was that. But then it was redefined as gender dysphoria. And gender dysphoria is where you self-identify. Dysphoria just means unhappiness. It's not a scientific term. It just means I don't like being what I am. And I'm saying you are sowing the seeds of dysphoria by planting concepts in 4-year-olds' minds that they could be born in the wrong body. That's all I'm saying. Do you disagree?
All that is that's just sort of going, okay, some people are born differently. Some men are attracted to other men.
4-year-olds.
Some women are attracted to other women.
Yeah, but surely you need to pass through puberty before you know.
Yeah, I know. What?
No.
No.
You know, but until you pass through puberty, you're effectively like an asexual being. You don't have those.
I would have wanted that my parents would read to me like stories like that, and stories like girls liking girls or men liking women.
Did you ever think you might be a male?
No.
Never.
No.
Did you allow the thought to process in your mind? Did you ever engage in the thought?
No, because I didn't have to. Because I feel like a woman. I didn't have to. Okay. But there are people.
If someone had said to you when you were 4 you could be born in the wrong body, do you think that thought might have grown in your mind?
But it would get out.
How do you know?
I grew up watching Lily Savage. I remember Nadia from Big Brother. We all knew this thing existed. But it never really affected us. I think transgenderism has only really been a big issue ever since Caitlyn Jenner came out, and then people, it was acceptable to be trans.
Yes,
and
not just acceptable.
And I'm not saying you're one of them.
No.
A very conservative Christian
No, absolutely. No. Can I just say,
who don't like these gays?
No. I'm going to say I could approach this completely from a non-religious perspective. And most people, just from a purely scientific and psychological perspective, it's got nothing to do with religiosity. What it's got to do is we live in a society where, do you think if you can be born in the wrong body, could you be a 6-year-old?
I'm drawing a line on that. That's fucking ridiculous.
Why?
That's fucking ridiculous.
You are so prejudiced, man. You are so. Are you for real? You don't think you should be allowed?
I would tell that crazy motherfucker to his face, you are crazy. No, that is not transgenderism.
Hang on.
You're choosing and picking that.
You're picking and choosing. What's the difference? You're saying this is a woman.
That's a rapist who identifies as trans, right?
But is it a woman?
Trans woman, Satigo.
No, but is it a woman? It's not trans woman. It's a woman. It's a woman.
It's a trans woman. That's why we say trans.
But you're being transphobic. You're still holding on to your residual transphobism. Is this a woman? Is this a woman?
Trans woman.
Say it's a woman. He wants you to call him a woman.
I wouldn't mind. I told them before.
Sorry,
if I had a friend
trans woman.
that would
All right. No. And this. What about this person?
That's clearly mental illness. That's clear.
I would be like, okay.
That's clear.
Other trans women,
I don't want to
they
be
all say
friends
that's mental
That's
illness.
not him being a woman isn't mental illness. Him being a 6.5-year-old is mental. Why can't he be a 6-year-old?
I probably wouldn't be friends with this.
A girl, Sophia, she said that person's crazy.
Do you think it's a 6-year-old woman, or do you think it's a 50-year-old man.
What about species? Like,
What do you think?
Oh, no.
people define themselves as
She was
dogs.
born.
Yeah, go on.
identify
He
as
has
a
the two.
40-year-old
He has
white
a cat.
man.
Yeah.
Look,
Let's bring him
No.
out. Let's bring him out. Let's bring this guy out. See, this is a cat. Is this a cat or is it someone with mental illness?
Honestly, no, that seems fine. I mean, look, people have facial decorations.
If he asked you to call him a cat, would you start purring?
I'll call him a cat, that's fair game.
His tummy?
Like a fucking weirdo.
As long as he doesn't start acting like a weirdo, he topped himself. This is a man who transitioned to a woman and then transitioned into a cat. And in my friend all, if it makes him happy, well, why did he himself then?
Okay, so
You're
maybe he was
encouraging
happy.
mental illness that will end in
No,
suicide.
okay, no.
You really are. You're responsible for it by encouraging a delusion.
You think
And
that
this
if
is
he
why I'm
stayed
so
as a
serious
man,
about it.
and you think that if he stayed a
It's
man, he
absolutely
wouldn't
crazy.
kill himself?
All right, I'm going to give you a real example. Can I just say this real example? In my school, the girl in the class decided that that she was a boy, so she transitioned to a boy, and they built a gender-neutral toilet for this person. And the week later, this girl said she was a wolf. Have you heard of trans species? You should do some research, because amongst pre-teen girls, trans species is huge.
How many trans species have you met?
Well, you go on YouTube. You go on YouTube tonight. Type on trans
seen
species.
people eating
Do you
shit
not
on
understand?
the
They get
internet.
millions and millions.
Yeah,
of
but
hits.
it's a reality.
No, but it creates it. You've got to understand the power of social media.
As the colour
Like
yellow.
being transracial, you know.
Yeah, what about being transracial?
I'm barely drawing a line. Ain't no motherfucker doing transracial. No, fuck her. That's racist
You are
bullshit.
so racist.
Nah, she
You are a
infiltrated the
transphobic
NAACP.
racist, man.
They don't know she was a white woman.
Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing how your mask
White women don't have this.
Hang on.
Like, she looks like Miss Piggy
Yeah,
with some milky ways.
she's not black.
Look at her on the
She
right,
looks
on the
more
farm,
black
fucking
than
her
you.
cousins
She
and
looks
some
more
shit.
black than you. Why can't
She
she?
look black. Don't insult me,
Okay.
motherfucker. Look black.
Hang on. So this is definitely. So you don't like that?
No.
Bad stuff. Okay. Yeah. No.
Trans people
I
don't
get
like
it.
that shit.
Huh?
Trans people think it's fucking ridiculous too.
Here's a trans woman for you. But you didn't like the racial one.
I've
No, that's not. Look,
Black Lives
this is
Matter
a
on the
trans
t-shirt.
activist. This is a trans woman activist. Huh? But tell me more. Why can't that woman be black? Maybe if she was ancestry DNA thing, she could have found 0.1%.
I don't mean explain through all you
Yeah, no, please. I want to be educated. Tell me, why can't
when
she
you grow
be
up
black?
when you grow up black, there's a way people treat you. There is a way things that people expect from you.
Like a woman? If you grow up as a girl?
Yeah.
Come on.
Like, I'm not trans woman. I'm not a woman.
No, but
I
what you
can't
were just
talk about
saying,
being a woman.
telling somebody you are,
I
telling
think
somebody
this
to
is
believe something
unbelievably
that's
offensive.
untrue
I think
is bad.
I think transracialism is
okay.
pretty
So what
racist.
you're saying is she is deluded.
Absolutely.
Okay,
And
but
I think she's
but
a
a
racist,
trans woman isn't deluded, but this person is.
I think
What about if this person had 1% black ancestry?
that person is 1% black.
And she wanted.
This guy
Okay,
has a
well,
little
why
bit
doesn't she
Indian
want to
in it.
identify? Why?
Is he a Sikh?
Why should you? Yeah, hang on. Well, let's cut to the quick. Right, you're saying that transageism is crazy. What do they call us? Transracial? It's completely
I'm
crazy.
actually- I'm only okay with
Trans-species,
transgender.
you're only okay.
Yeah.
Why are you so prejudiced? But
These are my
why?
cases.
You've got to explore that
I'll
in
tell
your
you
own
why.
mind.
Because I've
Yeah,
read about
tell me.
maybe 5 different transgender women. Men.
Have you met any like that? So
no,
you've only
no, I
met the
haven't.
polished versions. This is why you're deluded, because you only exposed to the ones who look and bits of it. But
no.
essentially, that's the same, exactly the
face to
same.
face. I've never met these multi-gender people. I've never met them. People
Yeah.
keep saying they're everywhere. I
Okay,
haven't seen
here
them.
he comes. He's hopped
never
over
met-
the fence and he says, "I'm a woman. I'm a woman. I'm." You would say you're flipping crazy, wouldn't you?
I think she
Let
do
him
that.
You'd
I
say you're
don't think
crazy.
she would come out of the
No,
fence and say, I'm a woman, I'm a woman, I'm a woman.
He
Only
is
if
telling
you
you.
would call
He
her-
now is
only if
telling
would
you,
call
"I'm
her-
a woman."
Okay.
You're saying he.
Yeah.
She's a she.
That's cuckoo. That is completely insane what you've just said. Why? You mean how?
No, why that's insane?
Because this is not a woman. It's a woman.
We
I
just
want
keep
you to
repeating
clear your
yourself.
heart.
Trans woman that could
No,
make an effort with
hang on,
her appearance.
hang on. This is a person who's just standing. This person is a woman. Would you say this is a woman?
I think transgender people make an effort with their appearance. In my
Why?
opinion.
That's gender stereotyping of the worst kind.
because I think it's
Why
better
should
so
this
we don't
person
make
have
a
to have
mistake.
pink?
So we don't make a
So what
mistake.
you're saying finds a woman is pink and dresses and lipstick and wigs. I've got my youngest daughter. She wears a baseball cap. She wears jeans. She does judo. I don't conform her to the crudest stereotype people do. You seem to these people.
Most trans.
They stop in the hormones. You wait. I tell you what. Wait till the hormone blockers start to wear off. Wait till the stubble starts to grow. Wait till as they talk about the plug that comes out, and you'll see somebody who will fall into a mother just turning into something.
Every time we have the trans conversation, we just use the occasional
man
letter.
who the woman.
Inside
you
didn't
decide.
Yes,
He
you
feels
did.
no. This is not a decision.
don't
Just
decide
as
to
much
be
as
gay.
yeah.
Okay.
He didn't wake up
Why are
and
they
feel like that.
stifling all the reports of the
It's not like deciding
detransitioning?
what I will wear in the morning.
But what about if he detransitioned later on? Would that mean that he wasn't really a woman? Did he make a mistake?
No, I didn't.
No, but would that mean he made a mistake?
I didn't understand.
Okay, let's say.
I didn't understand what you mean.
Okay, that is a very important point. There is a person who decides to transition from a man.
Okay.
They have the operation, they have all the hormones. 30 years later, they realise they made a mistake, and they try and get a surgeon to sort things out, and they can't because it's a botched thing, and it's all. But he realised he made a mistake. Was that person a woman when they made that initial statement?
Yeah.
Even though later on they realised they weren't.
I just keep thinking, oh, he's like,
See, this is the complex of these arguments.
30 years.
You are not
For
mature
30
enough
years.
at the age of 4 to determine what sexuality you are.
That I agree with you, okay? I think that for
Well,
surgery,
they are, yeah,
for
yeah.
surgery, you need to be at least 18, okay?
Okay. What about for hormone blockers?
In my
No,
country,
hormone
it's like the
hormone
minimum age.
blockers 11.
But you give hormone like to kids who don't grow fast enough, right?
But they're dangerous. When this person reaches 8, his penis will still be the size of an 8-year-old. That's how important these decisions are. Because
They've never gone through periods, never gone through all these things.
stillbirths, childbearing, and all the rest of it. See, my wife is a real woman. Okay, she's a woman.
She's a woman.
See, no, she's a woman.
Okay.
A real woman, like
She's a real woman.
trans
Yeah.
or...
No, real woman. We've got
No,
5
she's a woman
daughters.
and she's
Why
a
would you say
female.
real?
No, what I'm saying is, I can't. Let's say I said to my wife, I'm now a woman.
Okay.
Let's just say, my wife, can I just say this? There's 2 scenarios. Here's my wife and here's me, and I say, I'm now. I haven't a clue about the true interior and spiritual nature of a real woman and the things she has to bear every month and the changes in her emotions and the stillbirths that she's, have to give birth to and the 5 children she had to give labor to
women
and the
can't
way
give
her mind
birth.
thinks because her mind is different, her DNA is different, her physiology is different, and I'm claiming her
That-
territory.
but
And
that's
am I
not
as
women,
am I
that's
as authentic?
female.
Am I
She's
as authentic?
female.
No, you're not.
I'm not, am I? I agree with you.
No, you're not. Yeah.
I agree
No,
with you.
but
Have lots of children and bring them up to know
actually, I've
true from false.
So I've got one question.
Yeah.
'Cause we always talk about like the multiple gender
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Now, bearing in mind that you get hermaphrodites, now a very
That's
small
still biological. That's
They
biological.
still have the
Now,
same.
is
They still
it
have one
possible
and
that
so
if you have
Maybe.
you're born with this genitals or those genitals,
Yeah.
that sometimes some people's minds you can have a woman's mind in you.
But
The
you
same way as I'm
Yeah,
attracted to
yeah,
men. Do you
yeah,
think that?
yeah. No, what you
think
just
that could be genetic
identified
and then
is a
just the rest of
biological
you?
condition, right? And to
Do you think it might be
determine the
biological,
psychological side of things, there isn't a mechanism because the difference in men and women's brains is to do with grey matter and white matter. You can actually see it and size. A woman's brain and a man's brain is different. Their DNA is different.
But
Their physiology is
but
different.
psychological-
Psychology
But
is
it also-
influenced by society.
no, but it also
It's
influenced by your
psychology,
body.
it's-
There are
I disagree,
depression
man. I
that
mean-
There's a
affects-
harm.
I grew up watching all kinds of weird shit, but I'm not like
Yeah.
bothered. I'm not like, I think transgenderism, I think we clearly draw the line between the trans species, the transracials. I
Okay,
think when I look,
but not
when I
the
think of
transgender. But I don't
I think
understand.
'cause I looked at, like,
I don't
Nadia
understand
from,
the,
Big Brother,
yeah. I don't
Caitlyn
understand the
Jenner.
basis you're making that decision.
There's like
I think
gender-
it's like
prejudice.
I think it's like being gay.
dysphoria.
Yeah.
That's mental illness. Why is it?
Yeah, what's the difference? See, you've given the
Can I ask
list.
a question?
Can you do that and then you'll give you loads of
Can we
time?
drive a difference between transgenderism and homosexuality? Are they
No,
the
could
same or are they
we answer first this? Use that categorically, someone who claims a different race is loony. Someone who claims to be a different
You
species
just
is complete
repeat yourself all
loony.
the time.
Somebody, I'm
You
making a
call
point.
you-
Look, you can
No.
go away if you don't like it. Or somebody who claims to be a different age is lunacy, completely, and who's very passionate about it. But a man who says and he hasn't had any surgery, any hormone. He just says today I'm telling you I'm a woman.
I think he's
That's
probably
not.
always felt that way, but he just sort of never really knew how
Yeah,
to
but does that
explain
mean-
it.
does it
A
mean-
lot of
Yeah.
people take a very long time to come out of the closet as gay. I knew a gay dude.
But this person
he came
felt
out
they
at
were
20.
they were black. This person felt they were a cat. You can't limit the same criteria you're allowing to that person and not extend it to the others.
Do you think there's any real difference between homosexuality and transgender?
Well, no, this is a problem. You know what? The feminist lesbians are on my side. They realise, and that's a fact, they realise, I tell you what, they realise that them as lesbians, the transgender people say, you're not lesbian, you're actually a transgender man. That's what they're telling it.
That's not the same
No,
thing.
you should
No,
dig
because-
out how
because
feminists
that's
are getting their asses
homophobic.
kicked.
That's
Over there,
homophobic to assume
over there in the
that if
park
I'm
last
attracted
year,
to men-
3 transgender women, men who were wearing lipstick, kicked fuck out of a blinking old granny lesbian feminist. Those transgender women, the men, they still have this testosterone, and the hate they're directing towards lesbians and feminists is absolutely huge. And I stand with them. I never ever thought I'd be in the same camp as Jermaine Greer
but
and the lesbians and the feminists.
If you believe in freedom of speech and that, you should be able to hate whoever you want, innit? It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, but why is it you should compete with the same sports of the gender which you would completely outcompete? It's like,
All the top women
it's like
athletes
me
are going to be
competing-
men.
I don't think trans
What about MMA
I
fights?
don't
Do you
think
think
trans women should be allowed to be in athletics.
this is why
No, because of the
you're,
genetic-
with great respect, you're cherry picking now. You've come from an absolute position where you said, I don't understand why you've got this beef with, transgender people. But very clear idea of the species and the age and the race, and also in competition in athletics. Because to see a man with MMA fighting a woman and kicking the crap out of her because he's more powerful, they allow this person to get in the ring with him and place him, and it's absolutely insane.
I know a woman named Sophia, and she's unbelievably weak looking. She's very frail, right? You know what I mean? I can clearly tell she wouldn't do very well against Ronda Rose in a fight in a cage match.
Okay,
You know,
yeah.
that's
More to the biology than just the hormones. You've got bone density, you've got weight
Yeah,
loss.
muscle mass.
That's it.
Yeah. And unfortunately, if you look at middle distance running, weightlifting, rowing, cycling, all of the women medalists are going to be men with penises. It's insane.
That's why we don't let women do steroids. You know what I mean? Because we've clearly drawn a line. If there's a clear genetic thing there, I think
You know what? Maybe could we pull this together? My main concern is not that some people who persistently have this feeling that they are born in the wrong body as adults. I would go back to the 10-year-old definition. They are suffering from sexual identity disorder, and it's a mental health issue, and I wish them well, and I don't hate them one bit. But what I do have a problem with, can I just finish this, is a 4-year-old being brought into a kindergarten, read a book about 2 crayons that are in the wrong packaging, then read a story about Jazz, the transgender superstar, and then a boy is taken out of the class and brought back as a girl and say, now John is now Jane. And a 4-year-old's going,
I know it's real.
that 4-year-old is going to go back and is going to be so confused. When that 4-year-old becomes a
it's okay for
16-year-old, they're going
children
to
to
be
be
suffering mental
confused.
illness.
It's okay for children to be confused.
I think it's delusion. I think what's happening at the moment is gender dysphoria is being put into the minds of children. It's actually, because it is.
The same thing about homosexuality.
Yeah.
No
You can't
way.
force people to be transgender.
So
You can
Force people to
so.
be gay.
Let's
I
be
grew up
honest,
watching
homosexuality has
Hang
always
on, do
existed.
you think
Yeah.
a 4-year-old
But
would
also-
ever?
because
Hang on,
it's
see,
like
you're a
the-
different age to me.
the area to
Not
be-
many 4-year-olds when I was
Transgender
around
happened in the animal kingdom.
ever sat down and thought, I wonder if I'm in the wrong body.
transgender
But
happen
if
in
you
the
go on
animal
social media, on YouTube,
no, but
all the stars are all
also not,
transgender.
also not a lot of other stuff.
But I've got to say this, I don't hate anybody. I don't hate
any
anybody.
other
Animals don't have compassion.
I think
A
that
lot
you
of
can't
animals
identify
have,
as
but
trans
But don't they
until
have
you're
compassion? I
18,
think some compassion is in the
16,
animals.
18 or
but
21.
Yeah,
But
there you
there
go.
are-
Puberty, once you reach puberty, then
can be gay.
That's when you know.
and it used to be that way.
No transitioning until
a
you're
couple of
21.
gay penguins
I
in
can
there.
agree with
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Much as I would
That is
say,
different.
I
And
think
even
it's
in our
it's not
society,
it's unnatural,
Greece and
etc.,
the world.
etc. I can't make people do. But what I can do
feels
is try and
like
protect the minds and
penguina,
hearts of young
okay? You
children
can know
who
that
should be
because
left
they
alone
can
to be
talk.
done. and
You
not have
can know
confusion
that.
and gender
You
dysphoria
can
so
know
in
that
their
you can.
minds.
but
But that's
doesn't
about
mean,
it.
like,
Can I just say this
it's
last
adults,
thing?
you need to
I
give
don't
them, like,
hate people who are
testosterone.
transgender. Because
But
it's very
you
easy to
can know
caricature
that
somebody
how
who doesn't
it-
agree with
how-
someone
how
as this
this penguin
monster.
feels,
I understand
right?
where you're
You
coming
can
from.
know
I
that.
just,
But doesn't mean it's
I
healthy
feel like
for
it's being
society.
blown out of proportion and people think,
Why
Can
you
I say
fine?
this? I'll tell you what, the reason I brought this up is, can I ask you this? When's the last time you heard anybody talking about transgender here in the park apart from me?
actually, a few times. I think one, second time I came to the park, when Sophia came in.
No, I talked.
Rajiv had a debate with a guy about
I
transgender.
So
don't
you're
know
only
why
talking
does-
about the last 3
why
months,
does
really,
people
aren't you?
mind if
It's
I
either
consider
Islam,
myself a man or a woman?
Well, you know what, the concern I have is that Theresa May is bringing out this law, which means you can self-identify. You don't even need to see a doctor. You can now say you're a woman, and I would have to treat you with a woman. You'd have access to refuges and toilets and changing rooms with other women. I think it's wrong.
Okay,
Is that okay?
No, but wait.
So what do we
they have
disagree?
penises.
No, they have no penises. They
What does
have
that mean?
They have well-made vaginas.
Okay, so why do
You don't
mind?
mean that
You're
means pink
attracted to them.
nails and that's gender
The black men wanted to date women, not transgender men.
No, but
Yes,
but
yes,
if there's
yes,
a
I agree
transgender
with you.
woman,
Identify until you're 16.
Right.
you're attracted to her,
physically-
So
right?
you would say, leave the kids alone.
You want to make babies as well.
We should have books. We should tell kids that these
so
people
that's
exist,
not
just
okay,
like being
yeah?
gay. Right?
They can go into a relationship together.
I don't think kids are being forced to be
You
trans.
can go
Well,
to
all I
with
said just went ahead. I think a 4-year-old that is approached by an adult in a position of authority and trust, who then says, "Do you realise you might actually be a girl?" saying it to a 4-year-old boy. That is putting
Yeah, but that's
gender
the thing.
dysphoria
Black men
into that person's
are
mind,
now
which will
only
grow
gonna
up and
date
hatch into
black
mental
women who
illness.
have
That's what's going to
I
happen.
grew up realising that there are people out there, men out there
they
who
can't
want to
tell.
be with other men.
You know, and they
Yeah, I've had lots of friends who
You know, I
are
would literally feel sick if I accidentally slept with someone who was actually transgender.
Would you tell a 4-year-old they could be gay? Would you tell a 4-year-old they could be gay?
Yeah, and he'd be like, well, I'm not gay, I like girls.
No,
That's not good
a
enough.
4-year-old doesn't know.
Yeah, he does. When I was 4, I knew.
No, I wanted
Back then
knew
we
they had a
but
penis
attraction
and a
means
batty
more
man.
than, oh, just having
Yeah,
sex.
sorry, it's a
you
rude
know.
word.
Old habits are hard to break.
And then
Yeah, but would you
Because maybe I
want
wanted to, like,
being
oh,
told you could be gay?
we can
Because
take
that's
this
happening in
further.
schools as well.
if that's more than that,
frame
then
it
I
as in
Because
frame the discussion like there are
Yeah,
gay
because
people.
subconsciously,
Not you
even
could
though
be
I
gay, because if you're
don't
saying
want
it
to
to a child like
You're
that,
right, you put it on the plate and leave it there. You don't encourage them to say, why don't you go over there? And that's what's happening. And you know what? It's not by accident.
I disagree with allowing young children to dress up as women because they haven't. They're too young to even be able
So
to.
you wouldn't be in favour of bringing children up in a gender-neutral environment?
Yeah, exactly.
Because in Welsh schools,
You're not even interested in girls until you're
makes me
about.
sick.
Welsh schools have passed a law. Welsh schools have passed a law saying that the schools there are going to be gender neutral, so the boys can all wear dresses and the toilets and all the rest of it. And soon this will be in every school. What I'm saying is, this has only been going 3-4 years, and it's building up such a pace that I don't think when we look back when these 4-year-olds are 20 and 21 and the suicide rates are shooting up, and we say, what did we do wrong? No, I'd love to speak to her.
Yeah. I mean, I think she'll give you a more grounded.
I want to hear. I'd love to hear a
I've asked her the
story.
same
Can I hear
question,
what you're going to
and she
say?
agrees with me 100%.
Okay, yeah, go on.
next thing I was going to say is now it's not just building up the
Yeah,
mass, it's just
but,
people
you know,
telling
like,
It's a self.
yeah, it's becoming a
who's a
feedback
biological
where
woman,
Yes.
then having seen yourself.
I know, and did you read in the Daily Mail two weeks ago, 17 children in one school were identifying as trans, and the thing is they were giving themselves the names of their YouTube trans stars that have got millions and millions of hits, and they're being idolised by the other children. Homosexuality don't get idolisation, but trans does, and lots of the older children are encouraging it, and the young children going up to young girls and boys saying, you never trans, you might trans, my youth.
when they say it like that, they make.
I mean, here, like about people thinking they should be disabled. Was it like?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, it's
you've
true.
got to get up to speed. You've got to get up to speed. What about anorexia? I'm going to say was anorexic, okay, and she thought she was fat. I said you
being
fat,
transgender,
and
but
she
not gonna
died.
coach
Was
them.
I just affirming your reality? It's crazy. Yeah. It seems like we're not far apart. My hope that talk this and maybe look into the future and say what you're doing.
Literally
trying
mad.
to people in schools are trying to convince
go on.
autistic kids to be transgender.
Say that last bit again. This is important. Turn around. Yeah. You listen, he's got a good point.
Right to invade your
Yeah.
house.
Hey, you listen to the info coming in
some
red hot off the
schools,
press.
So are now trying to recruit autistic children to think the same thing.
Yeah. You know what? Those 17 children in that school, nearly all of them were also identified as autistic. These are people who are prone to suggest.
Yeah, and they're going to be easily
This is why I
manipulated.
say it's all confusion, because autistic came in as diagnosis and it became an identity. So when they tried to change the DSM and diagnose autistic people differently, the autists came out first and said, we're autistic, stick with this.
Okay,
So when
as
it
a
when it becomes an identity, it's different, and then identity into identity was determined by where you lived, sort of people you with. There's nobody. So they're replacing. There's a vacuum, and there's dominating power.
I mean, that's the thing. I'm dyslexic. Like, I'm not going to stop my group saying like, you're
don't
dyslexic.
and leave my dyslexia alone. You know,
You're right, brother.
like that. Yeah. That case of the two deaf parents who had a deaf child, and because they'd found a cure for deaf child, they actually fought against this child having that. It would mean that the deaf identity. But you know what? We'll bring it together for the OE. I think at least we've had the discussion, haven't we? Well done. Yeah, good man. Colin.
James,
you going to come here often?
Oh yeah, no, yeah. This is Sunday now.
Brilliant. Sunday mass, so I'm all right. Yeah, I went there last night.
We have the same.
We're part of a...
Oh, history. Can you get this? I want to hear. I'm going to get over here. Make history great again. I love the. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Should we do a thing here?
Yeah.
Are we talking about cis history or black?
We are talking about making the make a better future.
Man,
Yeah. A minute of Bush.
Yep. Big issue. There you go.
are you with them as well?
Yeah, no, we're all from roughly the same borough.
Okay.
Which is really interesting.
Tell us.
We met at school and then we the same borough. I had a couple of times and we just get them up.
Right. So break it down for us. What's the history?
No, he the hat.
Yeah, so basically history is a dust, but you with hope and things everyone.
Golden age, like the Muslims had the 12th century in Baghdad until the fucking Mongols. And Britain had which was higher.
Facing a lot of issues at the moment which
West
have historical roots.
Yeah, West Africa had the Mali Empire. I can't think of all of them.
But what's this
Some of them were
element
kind of
of
Osama and
what you're
Barbaros.
trying to do? Because I understand that all histories have things that we up and say good examples. Leave the rubbish.
Yeah.
We don't want the bad stuff. But can we pick something out of all these different races, cultures, history, put it together and see if we can build a meta-narrative that we can all crawl in under?
Yeah,
Come up
exactly.
with solutions to today's and tomorrow's problems.
Yeah.
As opposed to just constantly fighting about it. This is all I see is you get this outrage politics.
Sure.
So one person gets outraged and whether or not the other person gets outraged, the first person becomes more outraged. Outrage for you. If you just stand there and listen to it,
Yes.
the other person is going to be like, don't you care enough? And they're going to start raising their voice, they're going to start getting more hyped about it.
Question, and I'll leave because I've been on the camera for too long.
Sure, yeah.
On the way up here, I see religion. I'm not going to define which religion, as providing a meta-narrative under which all these competing tribal identities and things like that, if they don't subscribe to a meta-narrative, that means something's greater than differences. You can either make patriotism a fate of patriotism in America. You're not an Irish and a black. You're an Irish American, a black American, and things like that. What could history give us that would give that meta-narrative, bring peace and harmony to?
Well, especially on the Abrahamic beliefs, if you look at the foundations, it's all pagan in the end. So I think just like alleviate the nonsense. Just go back.
Accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative.
Exactly. Just go back to our roots, like as our ancestors used to, with taking the elements and so like not have the sacrificing and all that stuff, but to really provide for the family, the unit of the family.
Bronze Age was a ferocious time for man, though. I'm not sure the Bronze Age meta-narrative would be enough.
Well, no, it's more like you know, obviously the value of meditation is important. Taking care of the world in terms of nature and all that.
Sure.
And just like and not forcing other cultures.
You know what? I'm going to leave you three because you've got something valuable to say here, and I don't want to steal it. This is good.
Yeah, we're going to go grab some food, I think. My own history, yeah, no, I've started coming here recently, enjoying myself. This is now my Sunday Mass because I don't have a religion. So this is why you come to Speaker's Corner if you want to come down here, because everybody's discussing everything.
It's like a YouTube comment section, except you can see each other's faces.
Exactly, yeah, so you can't hide behind anonymity, you've got to come out and show your face. So hold on, there we go.
And what's your name?
James.
James will do.
James.
I'm Jamie.
James as
We
well.
identify as twins.
We identify as twins, yeah.
And Jimmy.
Born on the same day in the same borough, same second name.
Yeah. This is a republic of letters, we call it.
Republic of
I'm really
Letters.
hungry. Can we go get some food?
Yeah, we'll be back, man.
Yeah, we'll be all about this guy called Ivan Panic, a Russian guy, Ivan Panic. He discovered this thing called heptatic structure. That, because of that structure, I believe it's true. Also check out the guy called about the macro code